Hello, everybody. It's Stephen and Walter here for our weekly episode of So Chatty. And this week we thought we'd talk about lemons. Not the kind you eat, but the kind you buy. Now, maybe you're lucky and you buy great products and never have any problems. But it never seems to, for me, that works that way. Everything I buy turns out to be a bloody lemon, no matter how much money I spent or how reputable the product is. I'm a jinx. But I know from what I've seen as comments on the Idiot Quilter and other segments of my YouTube channel that a lot of people have run into problems with things they have bought new, and not because of anything they did, just because of the way they're made. So we thought we would discuss what we have learned over the years of buying a lot of lemons, and when I say we, I mean me, and how we handle situations where, something's broken down, it's under warranty, or it just went out of warranty, because that seems to happen with me all the time. Now, why did this discussion come to mind? Well, last weekend I had a couple of little problems. One problem was with my embroidery machine, and that was partially my fault. So I'm not going to talk about that. But the other problem has to do with irons. Now, I know everybody that has an iron out there have got lots of horror stories, but some of you have irons that you claim you've had for 10 or 15 years. It's never given you a moment's problem. And you've told me that. And that always makes me feel really good when you tell me that. Like you say, well, I've got one of those and I've never had a problem. Yeah, well, if you bought it 10 or 15 years ago, that may be, because they don't make things like they used to 10 or 15 years ago. For sure. So, for example, before we get into our discussion, up here, just let me get the screen. There was what I thought a great iron, an Loiseau. I've had two of them. This is the second one. These are the irons that go pop. Well, what I mean by that is when you put them down, like you see in this picture here, they raise up off your surface. So you don't have to actually set them on their end. You can lay them flat on any surface and they'll pop up and they won't burn anything, which I thought was a great feature because, sometimes you might forget, and also irons tip over when they're on their heel. So I really liked it. It had a good steam, everything like that. It was a great iron. I had it for 13 months. 1 month past the warranty, it died on me. It didn't pop anymore. And it stopped heating up. It just died. Just like that. There was no indication this was going to happen. It just decided one day, I'm giving up, I'm gone. And that was that. Well, I was pissed off because that iron cost over $200. That's an expensive iron. And I did like it. So I was ready to toss it out and buy something else. Someone told me, write to the manufacturer, to the company, because they said they had a similar problem with their Loiseau, and they wrote to them, and they sent them a brand new one. So I did, and they did. I got a brand new one. I was thrilled. I had to send the old one back to them, but that was all. They looked after the shipping and everything like that. So I was really impressed. So I'm thinking, okay, they stand behind their product. So this is the second Loiseau. Guess what it did? About 1 year later, because the warranty's only 1 year, it decided now that it didn't really want to steam much anymore. It just sort of drizzled, and it was leaking water out of the holes, steam holes as well. It still popped, it still heated up, but I decided I wanted to replace it. Well, in the meantime, I've been looking for irons and things, and I really wanted this next one I'm going to show you. This was my dream iron. I call it the tank iron. It's a Rowenta. That big blue thing at the front is the water reservoir, and I think it holds over 1 liter of water. Steams like whatever. You could use it actually vertically to steam clothing on a hanger or something like that as well. A great iron. I absolutely love this iron, but this is an expensive iron. Well over $300. Walter bought it for me for my birthday.
It was close to $400 with the tax.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected. So this is an expensive iron, and you expect it to last. But the warranty on this one, too, was only, what, a year?
A year, yeah.
Yeah, a year on it. guess what it just did? Now, I've had this iron for about a year and a half. It decided to blow up. It just gave out this huge cloud of steam, like it filled my sewing room to the point where it was like fog. And I had noticed it was making weird noises when I wasn't using it, when it was sitting on its cradle, heating up. Just sometimes the pump inside of it would go off, and it was sucking up water. And also noticed my water was disappearing really fast. And basically, it was steaming the water away while it was sitting there doing nothing. And then when it blew up, well, I had a big puddle of water underneath it all. And that did not make me happy. So I certainly said a lot of very colorful words at that point. So, what's a person to do? Well, I've replaced this iron with a really cheap iron. And why have I done that? Well, it's because of what people told me when I talked about this online. A lot of people said they have had similar problems with steam irons. A lot of them say, don't put water in a steam iron. Well, of course, that defeats the purpose, doesn't it? You can't steam unless there's water in it. So, and they say, because that just wrecks them. And other people said, buy the cheap irons, because irons, even the expensive ones, aren't worth the money because they're going to break down like what I had happen. So buy an iron that you consider disposable. Go to Walmart, buy a $30, $25 Black & Decker T-Fal, something like that. And when it goes, you buy another one and replace it. So that's what I'm trying out. I found an iron, a Black & Decker one, on Amazon for $19.99. It's a steam iron. I am putting water in it. Actually, I used it for the first time today. And actually...
Yeah, but if you bought, let's say, like a $120 iron, right, and it works for 12 months, then you could look at it as the iron cost me $10 a month.
But if I bought an iron for $20 and it lasted me a year, that meant I only spent less than $2 a month, too. True. So nice logic there.
Yeah, I know, but the more expensive irons tend to have better weight to them. And
well, we think they do. I don't know.
Okay.
Do they? Do they really? I don't know. Or are we just victims to consumerism, to the idea that because you spend more money on something, it is better quality? You would think that would be the way, but, well, we'll come and talk to that. So anyways.
No, if you spend more money on them, it's more features.
Okay, we're going to talk about that too. Jump ahead. Show notes.
Okay.
Well,
I don't follow show notes.
No,
I don't
you
make
don't.
show notes. I make comments.
You speak when I ask you to.
Well, if you don't want me on here, then you can just do the whole show
yourself. Why don't we just
yourself.
have a domestic on air?
Okay, fine.
We're not having a domestic. That was your little comic relief for a moment. Okay, so let's start with the quality then, as we're already in there. Are products made to last? No.
Especially not ones these days, I don't think.
Well, if you don't believe that, check out the last time you bought a major appliance like a fridge, a dishwasher, or a stove. And they're expensive products, high end. We've been through how many dishwashers over the years? 3?
Yeah.
3 and 20
Actually,
years?
probably the last one we had, we could have fixed and it was okay.
But we didn't. But they're just so cheaply made. And these were not cheap products. Like the dishwasher we have right now, the wheels keep dropping off of it.
Yeah, actually, the dishwasher we have now, we purchased, we thought it was a premium dishwasher. And because it has a premium name.
Well, it's KitchenAid.
Yeah, and they are now made by Whirlpool. KitchenAid used to be made by Hobart. But anyway, the days that they were made by Hobart, I thought they were better quality. Then KitchenAid took it over, and we bought one before this that was one of the
Whirlpool took them over.
Whirlpool took over KitchenAid, and the one we had before this one was one of the first Whirlpool-made KitchenAids, and it still was good quality. But the one that we've got now has gone a few generations into being made by Whirlpool, and it's really, really poor quality compared to the original KitchenAids.
And the price, though, didn't go down.
No, it didn't go down.
This dishwasher cost us over $1,100 for it. So
and the rack quality and everything else is extremely poor.
Yeah.
The wheels keep dropping off of it. it on the racks, and I have not been impressed with this dishwasher.
No.
Now, knock wood, it's worked.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't say too loud. It'll hear you and stop.
I mean, it's only the racks that are falling apart, but still.
Yeah. I mean, we keep ordering wheels. The wheels keep coming off. I actually was making wheels for it from my 3D printer, but the plastic used in a 3D printer can't really handle the high temperatures of the water and the drying cycle in a dishwasher for very long. So you're constantly replacing them back and forth. But we have bought the official wheels at, what do those wheels cost? $50?
Yeah, a set of the wheels come attached to each other in a unit, and there's four units on each rack. So we've sort of replaced each unit as they've failed, and one unit ended up costing about $60 by the time it gets shipped.
Yeah,
of just the wheels.
Just wheels. So yeah. In fact, we were looking one day a couple of weeks ago when we were in Home Depot, just out of curiosity, at the latest dishwashers and what they look like inside, and most of them had the same system.
Yeah, the wheels on the new dishwashers are exactly the same as the ones we have.
Yeah, which that's built-in obsolescence, because I am sure we're not the only ones that have had that problem with it. I'm sure many people have, and I'm sure many people have complained.
Many people have, because on the site that you do printing from 3D printers,
yeah, there's tons of
designs on there for replacement wheels.
Yeah, for all. But see, so there you go. So the company knows this is a problem, but they don't care. They don't care. So a higher price on a product does not necessarily guarantee you're getting a better quality product, but you might be getting more features. Now, let's talk about features on appliances, okay? Let's talk about them on a dishwasher, since we're talking about this. Our dishwasher has a pot scrubber feature. It has a tough feature, the normal feature, light feature, China feature.
And actually, the big feature on the more expensive dishwashers is that they're quieter.
They're quieter. They're better insulated. But how many of those features do I use on a regular basis? Normal. Sometimes, and I use the rinse feature as well. Those are the two main ones. Occasionally I will use tough, and on a rare occasion I've used the pot scrubber. Well, what does that really mean? Is there something extra element coming out and it's scrubbing your pots? No, it just means it sits in the cycle longer. Like,
no, there's sprayers from the back.
Yeah, they have sprayers on the back, but then that means you have to position your heavily stuffed in there, and that's no guarantee it'll come up.
No.
Plus, it runs, an average load in the dishwasher runs about an hour and a half to 2 hours. The tough runs about 4 to 6. So let's talk about energy pig, shall we? On all of that. So it doesn't mean it's got anything that's really special about it. It just means it's running longer. That's all. Do you need that? No. The next dishwasher that we ever buy, I'm going to look for one that's got like 2 features on and off.
Yeah, well, the only problem with that is that
you can't do it.
You
can't buy it.
No, because they're really loud.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, fine. Well, yeah, they're all loud, but you get used to it. But anyways, what I'm talking about is the more features. Now, the same can be applied to irons as well. You know, there's my Loiseau, for example, had 3 steam settings on it. And I never noticed there was a heck of a lot of difference between the 3 steam settings. You know, steam is steam.
Now, Lizzle, I read lately, is coming out with, you call it Loiseau.
I call it Loiseau, but
it's actually Loiseau.
Oh, I stand corrected again.
Anyway.
Live with the Dutchman.
Anyway, they're supposedly coming out with a new iron with bigger holes in the flow plate. Supposedly steams more.
Oh. How much steam does one need?
And while you're complaining, it's not steaming.
Well, there's such a thing as a dribble, and then there's steam. Okay.
And then there's now supposedly they're coming with a 3-year warranty.
Oh, okay.
Not that I know whether the warranty is actually worth it or not.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to say, because my next talking point here is warranties are not worth the paper they're written on. Because, okay, there was a day and age when you could buy a major appliance and you would get like a 5 to 10 year warranty on it, and it covered all kinds of things. Most things now, if you're lucky, have a 1-year warranty, and if you look at the fine print, it covers nothing. Manufacturer defects is all it covers. Well, what's a manufacturer defect? How do you know it's a manufacturer defect? What are they going to say to you? Like, prove it. That is an out clause.
Well, okay, one big complaint I have about sewing machines is that they come with a warranty, but then if something breaks inside of it, you take it in, half the time you end up paying for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing too is, like on Genomi's, there's a hidden warranty, which I didn't know about. Covers your motherboard. They don't talk about that in your manual. The motherboard is actually covered for quite a long time on it, and I found that out the hard way. Okay, with my 15,000. But a sewing machine. Let's take sewing.
Actually, a lot of the sewing machines say for their major parts they have a 25-year warranty. Well, that's like probably super major part.
But what's the I was going to say, what's the major part?
The major part is the frame that won't fall apart.
Yeah, because the frame's made out of metal usually.
Yeah, so like that's kind of it makes
the consumer think this is really good quality here that I've gotten. Most sewing machines, most of their parts now on the lower end models anyways are all plastic. The upper end ones have more metal in them, but they'd still have plastic as well.
Lots of plastic.
Yeah. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that plastic in this day and age is bad.
Actually, they do have fairly strong types of plastic these days.
But it just depends on, again, the manufacturer. You don't know for sure until something goes wrong with it. And that's what I say, the warranties. And of course, now today they have these extended warranties, right? Everybody's trying to sell you an extended warranty on appliances, on computers, things like that. You know, you go into Best Buy and you buy something there. They always say, would you like to buy the extended warranty? It'll give you 2 more years or something like that. But that's not necessarily true. Because sometimes the extended warranties, you think you're getting more years, but one of those years is actually the year that your your machine always comes with. So let's say they're selling you an extended warranty that says you'll get 3 years. But one of those years is the year of the standard warranty. It's not 1 year warranty, then the extended warranty kicks in for another 3 years.
No, yeah. What happens is if you buy an extended warranty at Best Buy, which what happens is if your item is warranted for 1 year, then if something goes wrong with it within that 1 year, you're obligated to contact the manufacturer.
Yeah.
For that. The extended warranty will not do anything for you. The extended warranty only kicks in once that first year is done with.
Yeah.
And then you have to go to the extended warranty, and that is only for a manufacturer's defect.
Yeah.
If it was, if you damage it in some way, and they somehow am able to prove that you damaged it, or it looks obvious that you damaged it, then they won't cover it.
Now, one extended warranty, though, that was worth the money is with Apple phones, with iPhones. Because they have, what do they call that?
iCare.
Apple Care or iCare?
Apple Care, but Apple still has hidden warranties too.
Yeah, but I mean, I had a problem with my iPhone. It was basically overheating in my pocket, and it was starting to bulge out the screen on it. I took it into an Apple store, and there was a problem with the batteries in them. They, right there and then, in the Apple store, they took my phone into the back. They got me a brand new one. They transferred all of my data, everything that was on the old phone, right onto my new phone while I waited, and it was no time at all. They did all of that. And I'll say that I was impressed.
Actually, I was impressed with it because, to me, at least it's a company that's sort of standing behind their products to some degree.
Now, the warranty was not cheap. It was what, $250?
Yeah, for an iPhone, but that also included a warranty if you dropped it
and busted your screen or the phone and everything,
which I would imagine.
And how long was that good for? A year?
That was good for I think it was. I can't remember. I think it's 2 years after your initial warranty.
The other initial warranty. So actually, although that is kind of expensive sounding, I think it was really good.
When you're buying an expensive piece of electronic equipment.
Well, we buy our phones outright, and they're over $2,000.
So by the time you add Apple Care and everything else to it, it adds up to that.
Anyways, expensive, okay? That's my point. I should never get into specifics around Walter because it'll all be corrected. all the time. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I find it as an annoying thing. But anyways, it's the way it is. I married you. I knew what I was getting into. Maybe. Okay, so another thing about warranties too, which we've already kind of mentioned, is read the fine print. Because, there's a reason why it's in fine print, all right? Most of us skip over that. I know I do. I just bought that new iron, which is cheap, and there's fine print. Yeah, I kind of glanced through it. And the other thing they like you to do is register online. Now, that is a crock of bull. I have never, ever once tried to complain or remove or return a product, and I had to go to, they asked me whether I had pre-registered or not for it. No, what they want is your information to send you advertisements for other products of theirs, or to create a list that they'll sell to other manufacturers, because they do that. They sell your information between all the different manufacturers of products or their subsidiaries or whatever. So but they make it sound like if you do not register this online and you have a problem, we will not protect you. We will not honor the warranty because you did not register it. That's bullword, because they don't honor your warranty no matter what, because they have fine print. And the fine print essentially says, tough luck, you bought it. Ha, sucker.
So
Good
mind
luck.
you, I did remember recently we had a problem with our kitchen tap.
Yeah.
Right? And it was made by Moen. And they supposedly warrant their products for life. And I contacted them, and they sent me a new hose. Now, mind you, it took about 7 days to get it. We were in a hurry.
Yeah,
so
because we were basically flooding the kitchen. But, no big deal. We had buckets. Yeah, okay. But see, now, that is one company that stands behind their products. Okay? Let's see how long these companies that are like that, because they're far and few between now.
Well, see, is with Moen, what they're counting on is that you have to be the original owner. You have to have a bill, right, for the original part. And the people change out their taps a lot. So
yeah, so they're playing the odds that you won't ever have a problem with it because you've changed it out before you could.
Yeah.
For that, yeah. And that's what's called built-in obsolescence. Well, no, that's not built-in obsolescence, but that's basically a strategy that is used by most manufacturers. Like, for example, computers. There was a day and an age when we first got into personal computers that I was basically getting rid of a computer every other year and buying new, because things were changing so rapidly with it. And you needed more processing power and a better screen and better features. So I was spending money to buy a new computer every 2 to 3 years at that point. And that was especially because of what I did for a living. As a teacher, I needed my computer and the whole bit. So it was getting a lot of wear and tear. And I needed to have the processing power. But I could buy extended warranties on computers. I stopped. After my second or third laptop, I decided, hey, why am I buying extended warranty? I don't keep them long enough to take advantage of an extended warranty with it. And that's what I would tell them. I say, I deal my computer every other year. I don't need an extended warranty. And with computers, laptops, they used to say, whether this is true or not, I'm not absolutely sure, if something's going to go on your laptop, it's going to go within the first few months of ownership of it. So that will be covered by the warranty. But guess what? Warranties aren't a year long now on a lot of laptops. They're 90 days, 3 months. And that's where the extended warranty business comes in, with all the problems we've already talked about with it. So again, they're trusting the fact that the computer industry is changing so rapidly, you're going to buy a new one before you'd ever have to use the extended warranty.
Or is it also because laptops are portable and people keep dropping them?
Well, that too. That could be as well. Now, the thing, though, is now, at least for me, the computer technology has slowed down. Now it's just, colored, different color case or something like that, or how thin it might be. But computer technology isn't going anywhere really major. It's like it's stalled.
I think the only problem you'd run into with computer technology is if you have a high-end program or something that processes video or something like that, and you need a heavier duty computer to handle that.
Yeah. But it used to be the features. They kept upgrading the features, and everything. And now it's like we've hit a saturation point.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been, until they can make a computer that is projecting a virtual model in front of you, like you see on science fiction shows. I don't think it's something you need to deal every year with, unless you drop it and break it. So, speaking of breaking, what to do when something breaks? Oh, I'm an expert on this because I have a lot of things break. I told you I buy lemons. Let's go with customer support. Online now, every company is online, of course, and they all have, contact us if you have any questions or problems. Have you tried to use that lately? Do you get a real human being threat? No. You have to write them a contact form or an email. And then they send you back maybe a automated reply telling you, we'll be getting back to you within the next 7 to 10 business days. They're hoping you'll forget and go away. And does anybody get a hold of you or contact you? Well, sometimes they do. Most times they don't. Sometimes when you get contacted, you get an automated message with an FAQ. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? For example, I bought, and I showed this week on the Idiot Quilter, or on my vlog, one or the other. I bought these things you wear around your neck that have 2 little lights on them, and they're meant for close-up work. If you want to see on your sewing machine a little bit more, and you can bend them around, and they just sit around your neck and give you light. And one of my regular subscribers on here, she had a pair of those on during Craft and Chat, and I said, what are those? And she told me, and I said, that's kind of a cool idea. So I went on Amazon and immediately bought a set. They weren't expensive. They cost me $30 Canadian in total. And free shipping because I have Prime. And so I got them. Well, they're okay. They do what they say they're going to do, except for the brightness. They claimed they had 6 levels of brightness. Not really. 2 lights. 3 levels of brightness on this one. 3 levels of brightness on this one. 6 levels of brightness by their mathematics.
Yeah, okay. So if you turned one off and had one on, that's there's 4 levels of brightness.
3 levels.
Because 3 levels on one side, and because one's off is the 4th level. You add a light to one, it gives you extra light. So
you should work for these companies because that would be the logic that they would use. Also, they weren't as bright as I was hoping they would be. And I need a lot of light, okay? I've got old eyes. And the older you get, the more light you need. So I thought, well, on Amazon you can write a review. So I did. Now, my review was not scathing. I said, okay, they're well built, and they are. They seem very solid. But I mentioned this thing about the levels of the light. And I was a little disappointed in that their top brightness was not as bright as I would like. But, so, and I think I gave them a rating of 3 out of 5 on it for that reason. Well, they actually sent me a reply through Amazon. It was an FAQ. Now, there was the very first thing on the FAQ said to make sure you took all the protective plastic sheets off the lights. Well, you know how you get something that's got a clear plastic or acrylic piece on it, and there's often that little thin film of plastic you peel off? It didn't tell me there was one of those, and it was so small. This is so small. I never thought of that. I never looked to see if there was something like on that. My bad. Okay. I peeled it off, and yes, it made a slight difference, but still not a great difference. Now, on the other hand, what I was impressed was I got a message back from them. And then they had a whole bunch of other things, which it must be based on what people have said. It was about charging them, and it was about some other things, none of which really applied to the situation I had. I mean, I wasn't going to send them back. I will use them for certain things. Now, I won't use them a lot, probably. And they didn't cost a lot of money. And as I said, they are well made. So, but I just thought, you're claiming 6 levels of brightness. I only have 3, regardless of what he says.
But like it.
get off the case.
All right.
But anyway, so the whole point of this was customer support. You don't get it. Now, some of them are getting very sophisticated. They have a little chat thing off to the side, I've noticed. And you click on that, and it asks you to fill in some basic information first before you're about to chat to what you think is going to be a representative of the company. So they have boxes for you to check, is it a technical support problem? Is it a manufacturer, whatever. And you check that all off, you get there, and they'll say, suddenly something pops up and goes, "Hi, I'm Judy, your virtual assistant." It's AI, and not really high-level AI, artificial intelligence. It is, I don't know if any of you remember, there used to be when personal computers, home computers first came out, there was a program called Eliza or something like that, or Elsie, or no, Eliza. It was basically a form of artificial intelligence on a very primitive basis. You typed in a question and it would talk back to you. It would type something up.
So sort of like Siri?
Siri's much more sophisticated. We'll probably get her going here. She'll hear her name. And don't say hey.
Hey.
You have to say, "Hey, Siri."
Hey.
Something's clicking. Never mind. So, it you just typed in these basic phrases. It was more for entertainment than anything else. Well, now today it's these virtual assistants, and all they do is they go, "Oh," and they sound like a real person on the other end. Some of them, they go, "I'm sorry you're having a problem. Here's something I found that might help you." It's another FAQ, or it's a link to a website that has very little to do with your problem. Now, if you get a real person, if you're lucky, you think, "Great, I've got a real person," and they start out the same way. Guess what? They're reading a script. If you go off script, if you ask something or say something that's not in their script, they don't know what to do with you. Now, I've had this problem with companies like internet providers and things like that, like Bell Canada and whatnot. Oh, they're getting better at it. But manufacturers are following suit with this on their products. So they're making you feel like they care and that they're going to help you. But all you do is get turned around into circles. And at the end of all of this anyways, usually they just get frustrated with you, the AI or the person at the end, to give you an email you can send a message to, which takes you back to square one again, because then you get an automated message saying, "Yeah, we have a higher than usual volume of requests. It'll be 7 to 10 business days, or that some say 48 hours. Most of the time you don't hear anything after that. They hope you're going to go away, that you'll forget. I don't forget. I'm one of those kind of consumers. I don't forget. It becomes a challenge. It becomes warfare. Speaking of warfare, so how do you get their attention? Well, we all have access to social media and Twitter and Facebook.
Twitter is pretty good.
And YouTube. Well, let's give an example of what we mean. I had a problem with something. What was it? And they ignored all the usual channels that I went through. So I decided they had a Facebook page. A lot of these companies have Facebook pages now. And I wrote a message. And basically, I said what had happened, that I hadn't got any response from anybody, and I was done with this company. Well, suddenly that's in the public forum. Hundreds of thousands of people can see that. They don't like that. I got an answer really quick. Now, sometimes what they do is they delete your comment. So you do it again. So you may get some satisfaction from doing that. What I've also done is, because I have a YouTube channel, I'm not afraid to use it. I have written to companies about things that said, okay, since this is going on, I will be reviewing your product on my YouTube channel. And I get some reaction from them because they don't want bad publicity. So social media can be a very effective as well. It's not going to be a solution every time, but
yeah, like I had a problem with, I subscribed to Sirius FM, XM or whatever, satellite radio on my car, and the last couple of years I haven't been using my car as much, So I thought, well, it's kind of expensive to be subscribing to this radio station that I'm not actually using because I'm not driving my car that much. So I decided earlier this year to get rid of it. And you phone them up and they give you the runaround to try and cancel your service. And then finally I get somebody that's supposedly going to help me to cancel it. And then all of a sudden I get hung up on. And every time I did this, every time I was about to supposedly get it canceled, I get hung up on. Before that, all they would do is try and talk me into keeping the service, right? And I've read online that a lot of people in the US and a lot of people in Canada have some serious issues with Sirius trying to get it to cancel. So, and of course, every time I called, I would be going through all these stages before. And then, even though I complained about it along the way, they were going, well, sir, this is the way we do our processes, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So anyway, I ended up going on to Twitter and noticed that there was a lot of Twitter complaints about them. So I added a complaint. Next thing you know, I got a direct phone number to call and from somebody. Please call this phone number, say this, they gave me a phrase or something to say. And I got right to somebody that could cancel it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Don't take no for an answer and be persistent. Yes, it is going to take a lot of your time for this. So then you've got to weigh, is it worth my time and energy for the outcome? Well, I say it is if it's something that costs you a lot of money. If it's something that was under $100 or whatever, you may want to cut your losses and move on.
It may not be worth it.
It may not be worth it. And only you can assess that. What's your time worth?
I've heard of a lot of people complaining about appliances that they've bought, like major appliances like fridges and stoves. And all of a sudden, they've only had it for a short period of time or a year. And all of a sudden, there's a big problem with it. And the manufacturers will not help you with it.
Yeah.
Or the manufacturers will suddenly aren't able to get a part from a product they've manufactured a year ago. And you may have spent $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for that product, and you're toast because you're not getting any assistance from it.
So you need to be persistent if you feel that it's worth the investment of your time and effort into it. But when you start out nice. Don't start going off like both barrels blasting with it, because that'll get you nowhere with that. They'll just put you down as a crank and get rid of you as fast as they can. You start out nice. I like to start off by putting a little guilt on them. I don't know if they actually feel guilty about it, but I will say something like, if I'm writing them an email, I want you to know that I have always felt that your products were of the highest quality and workmanship. I'm bullshitting with that. And, and I've always, been very happy with your products. But lately, and I had something that really disappointed me. And then tell them what happened and everything like that. And then at the end of whatever you write, also butter them up a little bit more, go and say, well, I know that you are probably very much concerned about your reputation as a company, and I am hoping that you will be able to act upon this in a timely fashion, something to that, and I wait for your reply, because I really don't want to have to, tell other people about the problems I'm having, and when they ask me what kind of response I got, telling them, well, I got absolutely nothing from it. And you will often get back a very nice reply. Now, whether they're going to do anything at that level, maybe not. They may be just bullshitting you as well. In fact, I expect that they probably are. But then be persistent. Move it to the next level. The next level, you're not quite as nice. You're not swearing at them. You're not screaming at them, using all caps in your email or your contact information or whatever. But you're being firm. Firm on borderline of threatening. Okay? Don't threaten, because after all, what can you do against a major corporation? Not a heck of a lot. And I don't suggest you're going to come down there with an armed posse and you're going to blow them out of the office with that, or you're bringing in a bomb. I think that might get you into a lot of trouble. Okay. But be very firm. Also, the people who initially answer your complaints are the plebes. They're the poor sucker on the end of the helpline. They're reading from their script. You need to elevate it beyond them. There's nothing wrong with asking if you can speak to somebody who is at the next level, because they'll sometimes say to you, well, I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not authorized to do this. Well, then could I please talk to somebody that is? I'll wait. Now, sometimes that gets you somebody else at a higher level that may be able to give you some satisfaction because you bumped it up a level. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, but it seems like lately when you do that, they seem to be not able to get somebody.
Yes, well, they're told that they can't get anybody with that. So there are other channels. Ask for a number to the head office. Do some research. Now, this goes into the how much is your time worth and your effort. Because if it's for something that costs you $50, at that point I'd say screw it, cut my losses. I won't buy from them again. But if it's a major ticket item, you can keep going. Now, some people remember the old days when they used to talk about I'm filing a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. That's a joke. That is not a threat in any way whatsoever, because the Better Business Bureau is actually financed by the manufacturers. They're not going to do a thing for you. The Better Business Bureaus never did anything for anybody. Those were put together by the trades, by the manufacturers, to make consumers think that there was another avenue that they could go on that would be effective. It's a joke. It's a joke. So don't even waste your time with something like that.
Better Business Bureau these days is called Facebook.
Yeah. So where does that leave you with something? Well, you can tell your friends. Word of mouth.
And nowadays, the word of social media.
Yeah, and that's what I always said about social media. But don't be afraid to tell your friends about your experiences. Badmouth the company as much as you can amongst your friends, because people talk to other people. You know, like someone will say, oh, I was thinking of buying a Rowenta iron. Oh, well, I have a friend who had a bad experience with them. Oh, yeah? People listen to that. People listen, and they think twice then. Because I know I've heard that from people before, too. And I go, oh, I didn't know about that. So you've already put the seeds of doubt in them. And don't underestimate how far that can go. Will it get you immediate satisfaction? Will it ever give you any satisfaction? Will it replace your item? Will the company call you up and go, oh, we're so sorry. We didn't want you to tell. Oh, tell your friends. Here, please, we'll give you everything you ever wanted. No, that's not going to happen. But it might make you feel better.
Make you feel better, and at least makes you feel better that somebody else might not get roped into it.
Well, the other thing, too, is if you just sit there and bitch and gripe about it in the comfort of your own home and don't do anything about it, then you might as well not bother bitching and griping about it, because you're not doing anything about it. You know, put up or shut up kind of a thing. Now, if you buy a product, though, and this is strategic buying, all right, yes, I know lots of people have a love-hate relationship with Amazon. I personally love Amazon. I buy from them all the time. And why do I do that? Well, I love the convenience. Everything is there, especially during COVID, right? But you can get some lemons on Amazon, because Amazon does stand behind their products. It's their way that they handle complaints. Now, you're not going to get, there's levels you have to go through. First of all, you got to find where you write the complaint, okay? That isn't absolutely obvious, but it's there. You just have to go through some menus and you'll find it. Then you write your message. The first thing Amazon automatically puts back to you, be sure, they have a system. They want you to contact the manufacturer first through their system, through Amazon. It's very easy to do it with your complaint. Then they'll say it'll take a few days for you to get an answer back from that. If you don't hear anything back from that seller, let them know. They move it to another level. So it may take several levels, and so you're going to have to be patient, because it's going to take some time. It's not going to take you years, though, but it will take you a couple of weeks, maybe, for something with it. But I've had very good luck with that, because Amazon does nail you. Now, here's a little thing that a lot of people don't know about. They actually have a chat system, a telephone number. It's buried. Now, I can't tell you exactly where it is because they keep moving it around. But I found this once, and I called with my complaint. I got a very nice person on the other end of the line who was not feeding me shit. They said, we're so sorry you had that problem. They took down all the details. They went right into action. I got an immediate refund because what they did was Amazon refunded me and they were going after the seller about the problem. I've even had it where I have threatened the manufacturer through Amazon to go, I shouldn't say threaten, but you know what I mean. I made a very strong suggestion of what I was going to do, that I was going to write a horrible review on Amazon, because you can review any product you bought on Amazon. It takes a couple days for it to be cleared by Amazon, so don't go in there and swearing a blue streak through it all, because Amazon won't post something like that. But be very calm and rational and explain what the problem is and why you were dissatisfied and that kind of thing. They don't like that. Those sellers do not like bad reviews. That's why you see the reviews on there. So there is a way, but you have to buy the product through Amazon. Similarly, go to Costco. If you can buy what you're looking for at Costco, you can take that sucker back no matter what at any time. Even outside of warranty, even if you don't have the original packaging, even if you don't have the original bill. How do we know that? Because we've done that. We had a TV set that was a small portable TV set.
This was quite a few years ago.
This is quite a few years ago. That worked well, okay. It didn't cost us a lot of money. You know, it was an extra TV set for the bedroom at the time. And we'd had it for a couple of years, and it just decided that was it. Game over. We did not have the box. I don't think we had the original bill.
I think we had the original.
Did we have the original bill? Because they can look up the bill
on
your account with Costco, because they have records of all of that. But anyways, we took it in. We kind of figured they were just going to say, tough luck, Charlie. You know, you've had this TV set's out of warranty, you know, whatever. No. They immediately said, would you like another? Actually, they gave us our money back from that. So, you know, we could have taken that TV set and dropped it off the balcony and brought it in and say, I don't know, it slipped. You know, it walked too close to the balcony. It was vibrating. I don't know. With it, they don't ask you any questions. They just, there you go. So, and you want to know something? They're not the only place. As much as I don't want to say this, Walmart is pretty good at when you want to return something too. They don't really give you much of a hassle, at least I have found. I've never had really a major hassle from them. Now, sure, I think if you came in and it looked like a transport truck had hit it, they might give you a bit of a problem with it. But I've seen people take in clothes. I saw someone return a kid's snowsuit after the winter was over. It was grimy. It had tears in it. You know, some of those ones, the fake fur around the cuffs and on the thing. They were black with dirt. And they said, yeah,
it didn't wear well.
It didn't wear well. They gave him back a full refund. So don't underestimate if you bought it in a store, taking it back to the store, because, you know, stores want to have good customer relations. Even back in the 1970s, when I was a high school student, I worked for Canadian Tire, major department store here in Canada. And we accepted anything that came back. And this is how it works. We filled out something called an adjustment form in those days. Of course, that was all pre-computer kind of days then. So, you know, everything was done by hand. We'd give the person either an exchange or their money back. We didn't ask many questions about it. Filled this little ticket thing out, taped it to the side of the product, and I asked where they went. They went back to the manufacturer, who gave Canadian Tire Corporation a credit for it, and then they were destroyed. That was the deal Crappy Tire had, we call it Crappy Tire in Canada, had with their manufacturers and that kind of thing. So that meant happy customers. And some people brought things back to me that, that's not a manufacturer's defect. You ran over it with your car, didn't you? I know, because there's still one of your kid's hands attached to that plastic hockey stick. You know, you got the kid too. Do you want an exchange on that? Sorry, we don't deal in children. But you can do it. Now, some people go, oh, I just don't want to make a stink. Well, suck it up then.
Well, you know what the problem is that they're banking on the fact that there's very few people that would actually return it.
That are going to return it. So you know, you have to decide for yourself. How important is it to you? Okay, so what's the other things you can do? Well, I was thinking preventative measures. Okay? Read your damn manual. Yeah.
Don't turn it on.
Don't turn it on. Yeah, just look at it from a distance, you know. Put a rope barrier around in front of it. Isn't that lovely?
If you don't use it, it won't break.
No, that's true. That's very true. But most of us don't read manuals in detail. I don't. I skim them. Walter does. He memorizes them, fine print. But you know, if you're investing in something that's really major, like the manual that came with this new iron I bought for $19.99 on Amazon, has a one-page thing. I looked down it.
Do not try to iron your hand.
Well, basically, it had the standard stuff. You know, don't plug it into something that you shouldn't plug it into. Don't saw off one of the prongs, you know, or keep it
don't immerse in water.
Yeah, don't immerse in water. Yeah, keep it out of the bathtub. I don't know. Don't let small children play with it. Whatever, kind of a thing. But I did read the warranty on it, which covered nothing except manufacturer's defects. But it has a 2-year warranty, which I found surprising, and I did register it online.
Wow, 2-year warranty.
Yeah, I know. For $19.99, really. Well, we'll see. Actually, it may have a 2-year warranty, but if it dies on me in 6 months' time or something, it was $19.99. I'm not.
Well, that's what they pretty much figured.
Yeah, so there you go with that. But there are some things in those manuals, especially when you're buying like a sewing machine or a major expensive iron or an appliance or something. You really do need to read the manual. Yes, it's not the most stimulating reading, but you may learn a few things that you may have taken for granted. There was something that, yeah, I've had one of these before. It's not a problem. Or I've had something like it. I just do this and this. Maybe not. Maybe not. It might be a little different on that one. Keep it clean. And I'm directing this towards everybody that has a sewing machine because I've watched millions of YouTube videos and heard many, many, many horror stories about my machine won't do this and didn't do that and the whole bit. And 9 times out of 10, it's because it's dirty. And we've done a whole thing about cleaning your sewing machine on other episodes of So Chatty. But this doesn't just apply to sewing machines. If there's something that needs to be clean, keep it clean. And they do give you cleaning instructions. Like they tell you, only use a soft cloth that you've moistened. Don't immerse it in a bath of acid, you know, or something like that. And that's the first thing they're going to ask you. In fact, this is not an appliance. This is one of those tub things. You know, you get those like inserts for your shower stall or something. There's a company called Bath Fitters that we used. We had, a few years after we got into this house, we decided that we wanted to put one of those one-piece or like a one-piece or things into our shower stall because it's easier to keep them clean when you have that. And this company, they have a lifetime warranty on those. And they do stand behind them because we've had a problem with it. However, they have a loophole. There are certain cleaning products that are the only ones you can use on this. And we are faithful to that. But they keep changing it because that's their loophole on the lifetime guarantee. If they come in and they suspect that you used one of the products they don't recommend, like instead of using Lysol, you use Clorox or something like that, okay? Well, that's not in their list. And that's where they can get you on the warranty. So, Walter, on a regular basis, have you looked at it lately?
Yeah, I have to look at it. Actually, the other thing is with that company is I figured the cleaners that they have on their list are actually companies that are paying them to be on their list.
Yeah, probably with them, because there isn't a great deal of difference. These are just cleaning products. Okay, they're just the kind of off-the-shelf cleaning products that you probably already use in your house, but they keep changing the list. So we're not taking a chance. And the first thing, we have had them come.
Actually, we'll probably need them.
We'll
to
probably
look
need
at
them
it
again. Look at it again, because we've got a crack.
Got two cracks.
Oh, there's two cracks. I don't see these cracks. You'll have to point them out to me.
Yeah.
Well, if you weren't so bloody heavy, it wouldn't. But anyways, one of the things that they do ask you is, what are you cleaning it with? And they ask you very innocently. And you say, this, which is recommended on your website. And we tell them, we follow the website on a regular basis. When you say, if this isn't on your list anymore, we don't use it anymore. We use the one that you do on your list. So, again, buyer beware. But that shower stall cost us over $4,000.
Yeah, and that was
quite a few years ago now,
ago.
like probably close to 20 years ago. So, you see, so keep your stuff clean, all right? And if there's a suggested maintenance regime, do the suggested maintenance regime. Don't abuse your equipment. Use it what it's intended for. Don't be using your iron to make grilled cheese sandwiches, as much as that's popular on TikTok, okay? Because that's not what they're meant for. And have them serviced regularly by a professional. If it's like your sewing machine, God, yes.
Well, actually, one of the things that's nice about a sewing machine is that you can actually get it serviced.
Yes.
Whereas a lot of major appliances you have these days,
they don't do anything.
It's hard to get somebody to service it.
Yeah, it's hard to get somebody to come into your house and repair them too, that knows what they're doing. We know. We've been there. Stay with brand names. They may cost you more, but usually those companies do stand behind their products. However, having said that, that's not necessarily always true. I.e., Whirlpool, who makes most of your kitchen appliances, even though they have other names on them.
Samsung and LG are all three major companies that make appliances, and all three of them don't stand behind their products.
None of them stand behind their products. So, that theory of buying a brand name doesn't always apply. And make sure you purchase your product, like I said, from a reputable seller. Avoid liquidation and discount stores. Yes, you'll walk in, those liquidation stores that have a lot of those as seen on TV products and all that, and they're at a ridiculously 50% less than the cost that they've advertised at, the manufacturer's suggested retail cost. There's a reason why they're in a liquidation store, okay, or a discount store. Those places aren't trying to give you a deal. They're just trying to make more money, and they bought them for a lot less than they're selling them for. A
lot of times they're selling reconditioned models and stuff like that, which aren't terrible for what you're getting, but still, that shows to me that the manufacturer of those products would break down regularly.
So you got to watch that. They don't always tell you they're refurbished. Some places will.
There should be something on the box that says it's been refurbished.
I mean, I think it's against the law for them to sell something and not let you know somehow that it is a refurbished product. But again, fine print. You may have to search for that information, or you just have to ask them, "Is this refurbished?" And if you get somebody who says, "Oh, I don't know," then I say, "Well, give me somebody that does know." Stand your ground.
And it also depends on who they've been refurbished by. Yeah. Because if it's been refurbished by the manufacturer, it's not terrible. But if it's been refurbished by a second party, then chances are that it's not been refurbished properly. Yeah. And that happens to be supposedly the case with things like cell phones and iPads and things like that too. Yeah. Because a lot of these companies that are refurbishing them are not refurbishing them properly.
Now, the other thing too is, sometimes, we're bad for this, you can fix a problem yourself. You can do some research on Google. YouTube is excellent for this kind of thing. However, it also depends on how skilled you are at doing this kind of thing. I'm not very skilled at it. And so sometimes if you try to fix a problem, you may make it even worse. Ask me how I know. Luckily, Walter's a little bit more mechanically inclined than I am when it comes to this, so sometimes what I can't do, he can do. But again, you've got to weigh, am I going to make this worse? And that's just means I'm going to avoid the warranty, because you'll always find that. They always have a clause in there that, if you've opened it up or you've tried to fix it, then you voided your warranty. And we've already talked about whether or not a warranty means anything. So we are not experts on all of this. We just know from our own experience, because as I said, I have bought a lot of lemons. They see me coming, they go, sell him the lemon. Yeah. So all these things we're talking about are from our own personal experience. We're not experts in consumer affairs. Some of you may know better ways to get satisfaction out of a company or from a store or from a manufacturer, whatever. And if you do, you might want to share those things in the comments below for other people to take advantage of. But we just compiled this list from our experience. So I hope that's might be of help, a guide, buyer beware. But that's all we want to say about after purchase warfare. Let the suckers. Don't take it lying down. You should not. Don't make them the boss of you. You make them the boss of you. Don't make them the boss of you. You are the boss of them. That's what I was trying to say. Duh. Oh, fine. It's time to go. It's been a long one. Anyways, okay. So that's it for us today. Long one. Enjoy a drink while you're listening to us, and we'll talk to you later. See you next week. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye.